Hey, my name is Jonathan Leonardo, and today we're talking about what it looks like to endure the discipline of God. This is Internet Church. I'm way too big for this. Let's go. What's your favorite story of you getting whooped?
I don't know if you guys remember the old Pathfinder belts that they were made out of like cloth. Like no, it was just like cloth, like a fabric, like the fabric in the buckle, right?
So your dad has the Pathfinder belt.
Yeah, because he prayed before.
He's like, Lord, empower my hand as I whoop this child.
You know, I don't know if your mom did like pray before and after.
Yeah,
you know?
This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. Let's pray to Jesus. Yeah.
So he just grabs that little like cloth belt and he just like goes one time, two times, and I'm not feeling anything. I'm not crying. And always I'm just laughing, straight up laughing out loud. And he just like gives up and he does well, I hope you learned your lesson. And walks away. And I'm just like, well, that was all right.
My mom worked out. She had her own gym in her house. So I don't know if you've ever seen old school, those big, thick leather belts. And it was a weight belt? Yeah, dude, it was like this, man, for bracing yourself. And that was a weapon of choice for her. Well, maybe weapon's a little too strong, but I remember there'd be times where she'd tell you, go get the belt. And that was the belt I had to go get. So when she wrapped that thing around, I mean, I'd like fly up and hit the ceiling, the spackle would come down. I'm exaggerating. It's a memorable belt because it was so big. And it was like there's times when you're little, like you're trying to get away from it. So you're like, Mom, and I'm like trying to.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Mine always had the one hand on the back, so mine was always like,
Yeah. So mine's not so much of when I got beat, but the time that I got in trouble. So my dad comes home from work, and there's this hallway that connects the garage to the living room, and his beautiful wall was decorated by the artistic excellence of his children. And he was not too pleased about this, so he was asking me, the older son, who drew with crayons on the wall? And of course, me being a good, responsible older brother, I said, it was my little brother Jordan. He's like, are you sure it was Jordan? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I didn't do it. I would never do that, Dad. Of course not. So he brings Jordan over to the wall, tells Jordan to reach nice and high because he's really young at the time. And where his tippy fingers are, standing on his tippy toes, like couldn't even reach the artwork. So,
and that's when your dad said, you are that man. So one time I was supposed to be home and I wasn't supposed to leave. And somehow I actually left the apartment. I left the apartment and my mother found out that I left the apartment. Like I wasn't supposed to leave the apartment, but she found out I left the apartment. And she was like, yo, come on, you already know what's up. And she had a belt, right? So I'm being smart. I go to my room and I put on 2 pairs of jeans. So I put on 1 pair of jeans, I put on the 2nd pair of jeans, right? I go, and I gave her my best acting, right? She's just like, what about that? I'm like, oh, Dios mío, right? Like, I'm just, like, it's happening. I'm like, oh, I'm crying, whatever, right? Pop, pop, pop. She gives me a few, right? And she's like, all right, now go upstairs, take a shower. So I'm like, yeah, bet. I go back to my room, and I'm feeling so good about myself because I had my 2 pairs of jeans on. So I took off 1 pair of jeans to go get ready for the shower. But then I took off the 2nd pair of jeans, and I left them both on the bed. So I leave both pairs of jeans on you do. Right? My mom comes into the bedroom, sees both pairs of jeans, and puts it together. She's like, oh, okay. I'm upstairs, I'm in the shower, having the time of my life, got my hot water, because, I live in New England, so it's probably cold, it was winter. I got the hot water going, dog, all of a sudden, no, first it was like the hand at Belshazzar's feast that came on the wall. Her hand came through, turned the water to hot, and I'm like, ow, and starts going, like a movie, she pulls back the curtain, and she's standing there with this hot water on me, and now she's got the leather belt in her hand. She's like, 2 pairs of jeans, huh? I know, Dios mío! Pow, pow! She's like, now you get it. Now you get it. I'm like, I'll never again. So that's my story of getting whooped. That's my favorite one. Pretty good. Well, one of my favorite. I got many more. Okay, so the background to the story that you just heard is that my mother was going to run errands and she told me not to leave the apartment while she was gone. The problem was there was fresh snow on the ground. The apartment complex that I grew up in was right next to a hill. So I did the math in my head, and as soon as my mother left, I got on my snow gear and I went outside. I was disobedient. And so when I got back, I left some sort of evidence so that when my mother made it back home, she saw that I had been out. Hence the whooping, and why I tried to sidestep the pain that was to follow by putting on 2 pairs of jeans. Okay, here's why I framed this these next few minutes this way. Because in the waiting, and we're not getting what we're hoping for in the waiting, all of a sudden it might become a temptation to deviate from that which we were told to wait for. Does that make sense? My mama says, don't go. I see on the outside things that are happening that I want to participate in. She says, wait till I come back, but I can't wait that long, so I go. When my mother returns and whoops me, okay? And she got in that good whooping. Some might think that my mother responded to me out of anger. I now know better. My mother did not respond to me out of anger. My mother responded to me out of care and concern that I would actually listen to her instruction because it was the best thing for me. My mother responded out of care and concern because she wanted me to listen to her instruction because it was the best thing for me. So in my mother whooping me, she was not treating me as a stranger. She was treating me as a beloved son. Okay, so when you read Hebrews chapter 12, we get to Hebrews chapter 12. Look at what Hebrews chapter 12 says. It says, start with verse 7. It is for discipline that you have to endure. God is treating you as sons. Well, what is it that you're enduring? Well, you're enduring being on this earth. You're enduring seeing creation unredeemed, unrestored. You're enduring with the infilling of the Holy Spirit while still suffering trials and tribulations. And this is what the Hebrews were enduring. They were enduring, can we really hold on to this faith in this Jesus that the rest of our brothers, the rest of our Israelite brothers, the rest of the Jews laugh at us and find us to be crazy that we actually think the Messiah was some crucified criminal? Can we continue to endure? Can we suffer trial and tribulation? What does the text say? God is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? If you are left without discipline in which all you have participated, then you are illegitimate children and not sons. God was actually present and with them in their suffering, in the person of Jesus. He was given to them as the author and perfecter of their faith. And the author of Hebrews in chapter 12 is trying to tell them, listen, you guys have not suffered to the point of what Jesus suffered. And look, he was the Son of God. What you guys are suffering is not unto the point of, like Hebrews 12:3 says, consider him who endured from sinners hostility so that you don't grow weary or faint-hearted. In your struggle against sin, you haven't resisted to the point of shedding blood, but God is faithful. Remain in your hope. You'll suffer these trials and tribulations, but in this suffering, God is treating you as sons. He will take those sufferings and they get turned around in instruction for us. They get turned around as opportunities for his life to manifest within us. So we don't have to go around with, oh, woe is me, I don't get to go outside. Woe is me, Jesus hasn't come back yet. Woe is me, I believe in this Messiah. No. God is treating us as sons as we endure, and it's a benefit for us as we're shaped. It's a benefit for us as we're disciplined. It's a benefit for us. God is treating us as his children. Look at what the author continues. Verse 12. Therefore, actually, let's go back to verse 10. You see a pattern here. I start somewhere, go back. Back to verse 10. They disciplined us for a short time. This is in relationship to earthly parents. They disciplined us for a short time as it seemed best for them, but he disciplines us for our good, that we might share his holiness. For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. Do you know that in our waiting, what is being shaped within us is the expectant stronghold of hope according to the seed that has been deposited within? Let me say that again. What is being shaped within us is this stronghold of hope via the seed that has been deposited within us. So as we endure trials and tribulations, this stronghold of hope, this stronghold of righteousness that we've received through the implanted word is growing and manifesting and knowing how to stand victorious in the midst of trials and tribulations. And God is treating us as children as he continues to be faithful even in the midst of when we suffer against sin. The final point is this. Hebrews 12:12. Therefore, lift your drooping heads and strengthen your weak knees. Make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame may not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. Strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness without which no one will see the Lord. See to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble, and by it may become defiled, that no one is sexually immoral or unholy like Esau. You know that Esau, he waited a long time to get his blessing. He waited a long time for it to manifest, and he began to despise it. And in his waiting, he didn't receive the disciplining. In the waiting, he didn't receive the shaping. In the waiting, he wasn't trained and brought up. He actually just denounced in the waiting. He did like I did. As soon as mom left, I ran outside, discounted the instruction. Esau did what I did. He didn't wait in discipline. He just sold his birthright. And the author of Hebrews is trying to teach us, like, don't do that. Don't be moved from being established in the Lord and being trained up by him even as we suffer. Don't be like Esau, who root of bitterness took up and he was like, oh, no, I'm gonna grab this other thing. No. Don't live according to those senses. Look to Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, and let the disciplining happen. He's treating us as sons. Too often we've thought that the discipline happens to get us somewhere. No, the disciplining is happening because he sees us as something that we already are. So the strong encouragement here is just simply this. There are times we will be disciplined. There are things that we'll have to learn through the hardships, endurance, and the endurance of this world. Hold fast. Keep your eyes set on Jesus. You are being treated as his children, as daughters and as sons. As we go to our groups, can we discuss maybe some very real ways that in the here and the now, in the today, in ways that God has been disciplining us? Has there been some disciplining in your life? Has there been some careful pruning of things that you just, Can we name some of those and maybe share the instruction that we've received so that it might be a benefit to us all? For we are all his children, and we are all under his discipline.
Hey babe, for Internet Church, we're swapping stories about when we've been spanked by parents. Can you tell yours?
Oh, sure. Well, I only got spanked once as a child that I can remember because I was a perfect angel. I was around 6 years old, I think, and I was getting real hungry at 12 o'clock at night in bed for some reason, so I snuck down to the pantry, grabbed a little package of Oreos, brought them up to my bed and ate them, and in the morning my mom found little crumbs in the bed and was just like, no, that's not what we do at night, and got a spanking. It wasn't with like a paddle or anything, I think it was just like a pat on the buttocks.